know that we live, everything is recording right at this point, even though it may not show up. So bam. And then I can take from this side here, copy, invite.
Oh, so you have it connected. So do I? So I'm not recording this one, right?
No, no, hold on one second.
Okay, cool.
I want to pause. All
Why
right.
doesn't I say how am I getting your things, but I'm not subscribed? Okay.
Close. Moderation helps everyone close. All right. So then I can put the link, paste. I know you're gonna stop playing with me. Yeah. All right. I see my people in here. Wait a minute. Come on now. Oh, let's try this again. You coming, y'all. Y'all already know I stay with some technical difficulties. Copy invite. That's what I needed to do. All right, I see some folks in here. Let me shout out to my people. Paste. All right, and I'm putting a link in the thing. So, Trey D Man was him. Trey the Man. B was him. B'll be on here real soon. For those who are watching, y'all know Brandon. We're gonna be talking about some stuff going on in Ghana and all of that good stuff. Shout out to Changing the Narrative. They say that's the homie Jay. Angie was shaking pork chops of bacon, man. We are on this thing. Let's see. All right. So far, we got 18 people watching. We're gonna just BS until we get to, I don't know, 25 and 35, 45. Hopefully we'll get to up to a couple of hundred people here, you know.
And I'm trying
B,
to multitask.
I understand. No, I might start doing a little work myself.
No, so I'm from Zoom, and then I'm looking at the YouTube stream from my phone.
Oh,
Or you have them
okay.
both on your computer.
Yeah, I got a couple of screens.
Okay, let me pull the other one up there.
Yeah, I got a couple of screens. I really do work. I be like,
Here.
Kennedy say bam, 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 just like that. Bam, 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 just like that. We in this thing. All right, I'm gonna wait till I get this 23 people right now. In the first 2 minutes, we'll wait till I get to 25 and we'll get started so that we won't be wasting people time. I'm still recovering from my little cold, but I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good.
You sure it's
Let's
not
see.
that new strand of COVID?
You say what's happening?
I say you sure it's not that new strand of COVID?
It
I
might have
saw, I
been.
got
Look,
your.
I ain't gonna much lie. It might have been. Cause I don't know. I was trying to look. I ain't gonna lie. I was eating some stuff. I got the plate where I said, man, I can't really taste this. It just tastes like food. It don't taste like nothing. So it might have been a little taste of COVID. But we all to bounce back now. The kids are outside playing and everything. So, but yeah. But I went to Kyalami today, the corner, Kyalami corner, and as I was walking in,
Mhm.
it said, flu shots available inside. And I said, oh yeah, that's right. This is the wintertime, South Africa, hence flu season. So it makes sense. And then, like flu viruses are, they mutate so often. Every year, there's a major mutation, and then there are like regional variations of the flu. So, whereas I never got the flu in the US, probably because I got it maybe years ago, and if I got sick, it was just like 3 minutes worth of sickness. Over here, this might be like a new strand introduced to my body, like, oh yeah, you got to deal with this. So, all right, somebody said, so Mwendo said, what's up, man? What's going on? And then Roddy. Y'all see,
Friday.
y'all know I be messing these names up, so I apologize. I'm gonna just say, where's Adrian? Adrian is work. So y'all know Adrian works from home from the US. So in the US, it is the middle of the day. So she working. All right, cool. So, all right, cool. 24 is enough. Let's get started. All right, family, it's your brother Asad, and we are back again with another live. So like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, I got to give a special and a significant and a particular and a peculiar shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel. My wife, myself, my children, we greatly appreciate it. Third, in terms of housekeeping, bam, 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 just like that. Bam, 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 just like that. June 6th at 1700 hours. That's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 p.m. At Wits University, we will be hosting the Marcus Garvey Lectures with Professor Ezra and Dr. Julius Garvey, who is Marcus Garvey's son. And it will be, it's going to be some good stuff. Ooh, it's going to be some good stuff. So y'all make sure y'all come out and check that out. I will also share the virtual link for those who are unable to attend in person. But I need y'all to support that and watch that. That's going to be some good stuff. And today on our live, we have a very special guest. Bam, bam, bam. Just like that, a very special guest. This sister got New Orleanian roots in New Orleans. She has roots in DC. She has actually, when was it, 2018? Or when was your first time that you said?
My first time was 2016.
Since 2016, she's been frequenting South Africa. Grew up in an Afrocentric school, right? And this sister is an influencer. She's a motivational speaker. She is a social media guru. Yeah. Somebody said, who is this gorgeous and beautiful woman, doctors, sounding like your girl on Color Purple? Who this woman, Harpo?
Who is Harpo?
Who this Harpo? What up, Doc? What up, Art? So right now, without further ado, y'all give it up for Miss Jae Scott. The crowd goes wild. What's going on, Jay?
Thank you. What's going on, Dr. Assad? Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for coming on, man. So we've been trying to organize this and get this squared away. Looked like for about a month now, and the first time just didn't work. So, but now we are here and we decided to go live.
And that was good.
Say that one more time.
I said the first time we did really good and it didn't save properly, but that was a good one.
No, but this gonna be better. I promise you, this gonna be better. To everybody watching, look, I'm gonna put it one more again in the I put the link in the description for anybody who want to jump on, but we are going to have a discussion and talk with Miss Scott about her South African experiences. She now lives full-time in Johannesburg, South Africa, but we want to know what got her here. So your first time in 2016, you came for what?
So I'm thinking, yeah, it was 2016, and it was the Essence Festival, the first ever Essence Festival in Durban. And I was like, you know what? I want to come. It's going to be lit. And I have never been to the Essence Festival in the States, but I was just like, I'm going to Durban. And a few of my friends, it was about 11 of us, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go. And by the time to go, no one went with me. And so it was just me solo dolo. And it was either, girl, you gonna go or you're not gonna go. But that was actually like my first solo trip, and I just felt like I'm supposed to be there. So I booked my ticket, and I only knew one person in South Africa, and that was a client of mine. And so I reached out to him, and you know how we are, where you think somebody just because they're in South Africa, you're like, oh, I'm coming to South Africa, am I going to be able to, what to do? Or, I'm going to Durban, but he lives in Johannesburg. And he's like, I'm in a whole different place. And that's like when people come to visit us in the States and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in California. You're like, dude, I'm in New York. Like, it's nowhere near each other. So it was just like that. But just from my just stepping on the plane, sitting next to, at the time, 2016 South Africa semifinalists was sitting right next to me and they were shooting. Like, it was just an amazing experience. I couldn't even like make it up myself. It was something totally different than what I expected from the plane. So I landed, to just landing and getting on a boat ride and doing all of these things that I just was like, okay, what's happening here? So yeah, it's been a great experience. I met so many different people, and from that trip, I got invited to speak at the African Women's Movement in the few months following that, and that's when I came to speak, and then that's when I met my South African mentor. And then from there, we started doing business together, and I created Passion to Purpose, and I started to speak all over the US as well as in Abu Dhabi and then South Africa. And then I created my South African conference in 2018. So
Oh,
that's how I first.
wait. You moving too fast. Slow down, Tito, down. All right, we got you done created the whole conference. We were supposed to get into how you felt about, the first time you got off the plane and you in the motherland and all of that good stuff. Tell me about that feeling if you remember. Did you freeze up on me?
It felt like home. It. No, I didn't hang up on you.
Wait, did you
Is
freeze
it
up?
delayed or can you hear
On my,
me?
I can kind of hear you, but I think you freezing up. Let's see if we can wait. Let's see if we can work on this. Somebody in the comments, let me know if there is if well, it look like you back now. There's a delay.
Am I? It is a delay.
There's a delay. All right. So somebody in the comments, let me know if there's a delay that y'all see. Like put a one, not that clear. Somebody says it's not that clear. Okay. Let's see how we gonna work on this. There's always some more bull stuff with this old streaming. Always. So
Oh,
yeah, because right now on my picture you are frozen for a second. So there's a how is your how's your signal on your internet? Is it strong?
I can hear you in real time. So it's like I can hear you. I don't see any delays. But then when I look to YouTube, you are talking and moving. I'm laughing. And so it's going in past time.
Oh, somebody says things are fine now. All right, let's see. But see, on my screen right now, you're frozen again. Uh-oh, she didn't fell off. Let's see, give it a second. Now I'm on here by myself. Oh, there she go. There she go. Okay, I think this is better. I can tell by how you came on. Maybe not.
I didn't do it. It did it itself. But is it fine?
Okay. So look like you good right now. Let's keep going.
Okay.
So you said it felt like home, right?
It
Mhm.
definitely felt like home. It felt like this is the place I'm supposed to be. And you muted.
Yeah, I'm still coughing. I'm just getting over that cough. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Jay,
Yeah, I can hear you. So yeah,
maybe
it
co-
mhm.
maybe come back out and come back in and see somebody saying it's choppy. Like log off the Zoom and
Okay.
log
Let
back
me
in.
log off and come back in. Okay, hold on.
We getting it together, y'all. Somebody says Ramaphosa's fault. It's Escom's fault. That's who we blaming it on. Somebody said Assad, bring her back. She coming over. She coming. She gonna log off and then bam, log back on. See, matter of fact, I know she's already logged off, but it's still showing her there. So something is going on with the internet connection. So we gonna get this squared away. Thank y'all for staying down. You know, thank y'all for staying down. So how everybody doing out there? Give me a 1 if you're doing good. Give me a 2 if you're doing great. I said, give me a 1 if you're doing good. Give me a 2 if you're doing great. Because that's the only way you can be doing every day above ground is a good day. And any day you can make you some money and get you some love from your family, that's a great day. So give me a 1 or a 2. Let me know what y'all got going on. Y'all moving slow. I ain't getting no 1s, no 2s, or nothing. But I'm gonna put this bam, bam, bam. Somebody say bam, 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 red grade A. That Puma is lit. Say, boy, I done jumped on this Puma game. You heard me? I done jumped. Brandon say 3. That means see, Brandy got a lot of money, so that means she just doing real good. Y'all gotta. I can't play with her. I can't play with her. Thank you, Joy. Yeah, I done jumped on the Puma. Yeah, I'll be going to the little mall of Africa. I done found me a little place that I think, okay, yeah, they got the big boy sizes. Yeah, because y'all know y'all still rocking skinny jeans and slim fit over here, and ain't nothing slim fit about me. I'm well over 240 some pounds. I don't wear no slim nothing. Ain't nothing slim. Yeah. All right, how we doing now? Is that a little better?
That better?
It seems like it. If not, we gonna roll with it. I think our people down.
Okay, I think it may be better.
Yeah. Look like we getting a little action in real time now.
Okay.
I see you moving your thing to try to make sure you get them angles.
Yeah, because it needs to, the light needs to make sure I glow. I'm just playing.
All right, so B said, in the meantime, I was talking to my people on here. Brandon saying, I'm broke. Stop telling people I got money. Lie. Don't lie to the people. That's perfect. Somebody say it's perfect now. Hi, I'm the new Prince Hakeem at Brandy Gap. Okay, Mr. Starward, what's him? What up, Doc? At work in NOLA, trying to watch this live before I get caught by my coworkers. Be careful, bro.
Yeah,
I
don't
thought you
lose
about to say
your
before you get caught
job.
by a stray because I know it's going down. It's the summertime in New Orleans too. Lord have mercy. I'm coming. Look, I'm gonna be there in June, at the end of June. And look, I'm saving me some phone books. I'm gonna wrap them around my chest and my stomach and my back and my side because I can't get no Teflon. So I can walk from the so I can walk from the plane and get to my house without, get there alive. We're just trying to arrive alive. Red Grade A said, "What up, Jay?"
What's up, Red?
He out here living his best life, Jay. I don't know if you
I
know
saw him. He was showing everybody his new house. I was like, look at Red moving on up.
that boy. Luck, he's living his best life. Art says, "Hey, Jay." Um,
Hello, hello.
You sold all the Kardashians. Oh, so all right. So we got 56 people watching. Now we can get back in the interview. Look like we doing some good stuff real time here. Uh, so you said it felt like home when you arrived on the continent, but that wasn't your first time on the continent, was it?
No, when I first landed, yes, that time. That was my,
Oh,
no, that wasn't my first time on the continent, but that was my first time in South Africa. My
Okay.
first time on the continent was when I was in high school. I went to Afrocentric high school called the Kemet Institute for Magnificent Achievers. And my senior year, they took the whole school to Ghana.
Mm. And
So
how was
that was my first time.
so we got somebody coming in. I'm sure they want to ask you a question, but I'm gonna pause them for a second. I'm gonna ask them to hold off till we get into us right quick. South African
Okay.
men are lucky. Jay, Brandy, Ashley. Lord have mercy. So you got the dudes in here going crazy, Jay. They talking about how lucky South African men are. They got Jay, Brandy, and Ashley. Oh man. So what is it? Let's talk about that. What is it like? Okay, let me say, I don't know if you're single or not single, but were you there was a time if that you might have been single here. What is it like in that dating situation? I'm sure the fellas want to know.
Bruh, that's all I want to say. Oh man, y'all don't beat me up, please. But
Hmm,
it's interesting, you know, in our group, especially as you can tell, we it's a lot of success stories where you see some people have gotten engaged, married, have had children. So I think, you know, the core African American, Caribbean American, everybody has, um, you know, it's love. For me, it's like you make a decision to blend the cultures and understand each other. Now, some of the differences that um, I experience is sometimes, and that's even when we speak, just because someone speaks English doesn't mean they interpret what you say exactly the same way.
yeah,
So, like that whole, you know, a lot of people love me, but I'm like, you mean like? Because love
yeah,
is a strong, you know, so I realized that some of that love is and so I just it's different, especially in some of the cultural differences where it's like they love that you are so, you know, from a different culture and have this whole kind of freedom aspect. But I think that we should do and that's what I was also thinking, maybe doing a episode of just like people, like what's your experience, women and men dating here in South Africa and vice versa, so not just Americans, because we have different experiences. Some people have good, then some people realize, you know what? I didn't realize that, you know, okay, for one example, a few of my friends was just like, you know, some people say, oh, well, your mouth is a little disrespectful, depending on what you say. And you're like, no, I'm just speaking up for myself. So,
mhm,
in a way of just voicing your opinion, but not being mean about it, it's just like certain things, it's just like, you just don't say anything. You just take what I say. And it's just like, that's not how we're raised. We're raised to have an opinion, but we can agree to disagree. It doesn't
yeah,
mean disrespect. And you know how, and I'm not, I don't want to generalize, but how a strong woman's mouth can be. I'm not
hmm,
gonna say a
hmm,
black woman's mouth, but just like, you know, if you say
hmm.
something crazy, I'm gonna say, who are you talking to?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah.
Just that.
Oh, we
So
know.
that is
No, that's no.
also
Go ahead and say it's a
very
black
different.
woman. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Our women supposed to have an opinion. I like that. Who want a
Well,
woman without
but
no
outside
opinion?
of that,
Huh?
yeah, so if you know, one instance it was like, I'm like, you know, I don't know who you're talking to, but I'm definitely not her. And it wasn't like a bad thing, but it was just like, you know, I said this and this, you know, we're in a relationship, so you're not supposed to. And I'm like, oh, but I was born into this world by myself and I'm gonna
Mm,
leave this world by myself. I'm not married, and it's not disrespectful. But then there's also good parts about it. It's a lot of things that you just like, okay. For me, like I've never been like so just stuck on just, oh, I'm just gonna date Americans and all that. I've been dating other cultures while living in America. So I
mm,
kind of understand certain things. But here I think you just start to to see a lot more because now I'm a minority in a bigger pool in that aspect. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
say
let me ask you this before we get to Dr. Tamello. Dr.
okay.
Tamello. But before we get to Dr. Tamello, do you find that the men here are more, let's say, so we know that Black American men, we have a certain level of, let's just say we rough around the edges around certain things. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily uncultured, um, but we can be, a little more maybe aggressive. Just like our sisters can be aggressive in their language, brothers can be aggressive in our language back home, and maybe some of our mannerisms and a lot of toxic masculinity, hyper masculinity. We don't want to call it toxic, but a lot of hyper masculinity. A lot of culturally, we don't necessarily pride ourselves on showing emotion and vulnerability and stuff. Do you feel that the men over here are the same way, or did you experience a different type of African man?
I think I think it's similar. The only difference is, which I think you know, is one of the main cultural differences is that men, you know, African American men have to deal with a lot. And what I mean by deal with a lot is, you get beat up by the world,
Mm,
just for, the color of your skin, your race, all of those things. And then you sometimes African American men portray that or relinquish some of that within their relationship and in their home. And as Black women, and if you know this just historically, we take on a lot and we kind of hide some of those things because we want him to feel like the king and let him know that no, whatever the world may have told you, that is not it. You are not it. You are better than that. And but sometimes in certain relationships, it can be positive and sometimes it can be a little negative where they take it out to the extreme on their significant other and their families, and then you see the kids are seeing it and things like that. So I think that based on our different society is different in some of the mannerisms. However, um, some of the I wouldn't say masculinity, but I think, men here have the same, I guess, masculinity type of morals as back at home, where like
mm,
I'm the man, you do this. But I do believe that African American men, or just say American men in general, allow women to voice their opinions a little bit more without thinking it's disrespectful. And not saying that women on the African continent cannot, it's just that I found personally, just in a few relationships that I was in, it could be something small and minute, but it's just like, instead of saying something, just why are you even saying anything? You shouldn't have said nothing. Like, just let me be. And it's just like, I can, but I thought this was a team effort. I thought we were partners and that we
mm,
could actually, I come from a communicative home where it's just like, okay, you may think it this way. This is how I think, or this is exactly what I mean in this aspect. And it doesn't mean that I'm defying you or that I'm disrespecting you. And then it's like defying who? I don't have a day. I mean,
yeah,
it's like, you're not. So it depends. But I just feel like it is emotional maturity. It is adult maturity. It's just how different people are raised, and I wouldn't even specifically just say cultural because somebody right next door to you could be raised different.
yeah,
Then so
mhm,
it goes from home to home.
yeah. That's true. That's true. So you can't really make a generalization about anybody or anything. It's just all your individual experiences. That's real. I'll let you slide with that. So, uh,
I'm a slide.
so now, what got you to South Africa on a permanent basis? When did you return after you left from Durban for the Essence Fest? What made you come back, and then what made you stay?
So I just kept visiting and doing different events and collaborating with women here on the continent. And created a few friendships, business relationships, and it just for me, I just saw just I felt free, and I was just like, just the freedom in Black people, and I was like, this is how Black people really supposed to live. And I'm not saying that every country has its pros and its cons, but I don't have that freedom at home.
Facts.
And I rather that than a lot of the money that, you could downgrade, and have a sense of freedom within self, and that make you live even longer and prosper more for me. That's how I felt. And so when I came back, before I came back, remember I was telling you I did a fast, and
Hmm.
the fast allowed me. I just actually was just doing a fast for myself, and it was just within that fast, it was mental, spiritual, physical, and God just kept saying, South Africa. I know you say if God told you, but yes, I saw the signs everywhere. And because I was like, God sent it to me in threes if it's true, and not me thinking like it's made up in my mind. I even got a phone call about it. It's wintertime in New York. I'm seeing a sign saying South Africa. Think it was South African Airways. So I was just like, all right. So I, packed up my stuff, moved it home, and then I was coming to start the process in South Africa just to like see how to set up business, how to, I got a manager for all the things that I want to do and looking for different places to like where I actually want to live. And I set things up with friends. And then 2 weeks after I landed, COVID happened. So then my flight back home was canceled. And then I have been here for 3 years. And since in those 3 years, I've only been home once. So I am definitely going back home soon to visit my family in a few months. So
Wow. So it was something you said. You said, this is how we are supposed to live. And you didn't say, this is how I'm supposed to live. So it wasn't an individual thing. It was something that you saw here in South Africa with the South African people that you knew maybe was missing back home. Do you know what that intangible is? Do you know how to describe it? Can you put it into words?
I can, but how can I do it correctly? So let
Mm,
me and it was an individual decision. It was for me, right? I did it for me. I wanted to feel free, in a society and in a space, and that's what I mean by we. You can have as much money as you want. You can even be the highest ranking officer, and you could, I mean, now it's broadcast all over social media. It's not that it's new, it's that now we have phones, we have cameras. You see it more often. And I don't know if you followed that story where it was a high ranking officer in the military and he was pulled over by a white police officer, and the guy saw him, you know, he told him who he was. He did not care. He did not care who he was. The guy was in uniform, everything. It didn't matter. See, when he stepped out of the car, you can actually see it didn't matter who he was, what type of money he made. It was that man lost his freedom then and there. It doesn't matter what his rights were. It was either he obeyed or he got shot.
yeah,
And yet he was a higher ranking officer than this gentleman. Not
right.
saying that things, certain things don't happen here, but I feel a different sense of freedom here. And that's what I
Yeah,
mean by this is how we supposed to live.
yeah. So I'm gonna tell you when we talk about traumatic stories in the United States. Just last week, an 11-year-old African American boy in Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, I believe. He's at home. His mother's ex-boyfriend shows up at the house about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He tripping, arguing with the mom, right? The mama tells the 11-year-old boy, call 911. He calls 911. The police show up about 2 minutes later. When they arrive, the police officer stands outside. He says, everyone come out with your hands up, right? The boy comes out with his hands up, 11 years old, gets shot in the chest. And when I saw that story, I got a 10-year-old and I got a 13-year-old now. When I saw that story, I said to myself, that's why I'm not in the United States. Because Tamir Rice, we say stuff like, "Oh, if it had been my child, I would have done this." The truth is, if he would have shot my child, what power do I really have? Am I going to go and take his life and end up in jail for the rest of my life? Because you know, you kill a police officer, it's over. You can kill about 5 black people and get 20 years. You kill one police, you shoot a police officer and don't kill him, and you still gonna get life, right? So what power do we have now? What position does what father wants to be in that type of position, right? What mother who is supposed to be protecting her child wants to be in that type of position? So when I show all this love to South Africa, it's because the feeling that you uh-oh, somebody, let me mute you. Let me mute you, brother Khalees. Now, Zoe, I see you. Brother Khalees, I see you. Sister Zoe, I see you. Brother Khalees, I see you. We're gonna let y'all hop in a second. But
Hello.
what I say about South Africa is the freedom. Like, I'm here liberated. I don't worry about death by police officers. If people talk about the crime, I live in a crime-ridden city, so I'm used to that. So I ain't really tripping over crime. I can deal with gangsters and thugs because I dealt with that my whole life. What I don't want to deal with is getting pulled over by the police, right, and getting killed. And I know that my family, my wife, no one has any recourse. My children get shot. No one has any recourse. No one's going to go to jail. No one's going to face a trial for it or whatever have you. And if they do, they get a slap on the wrist or whatever have you. So that's the liberation. So that's when you were talking about that in when you're talking about this is how we're supposed to live, that freedom. That's what I saw when I came in 2019. I was like, oh, there's another way Black people can live, and it's not in this like constant state of trauma and constant state of fear and constant state of like feeling like you're under arrest and wanted even when you're not involved in criminal activity, right? So Sister Zoe and Brother Khalees, Dr. Tumelo said he ain't got nothing to say. Oh, Zoe said Khalees will speak for us. She's just listening. All right, cool. Brother Khalees, what's going on?
What's going on, family?
You want there he is. Look, we got social media superstars on here tonight. Jae Scott got about 100,000 followers. Khalees got about 500,000 followers. Superstars in this thing tonight. What's going on, Brother Khalees?
What's going on, brother? And Sister Jae Scott, it's my first time meeting you, so it's a pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I caught the tail end of the conversation. Basically, you're talking about your life in South Africa in comparison to life in the States.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just talking in general. Just
I think it's a slight
South
delay.
Africa.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you, but yeah, there is a delay. So what we're gonna do is we'll let you
Oh,
get it
now I
off.
can't hear nothing.
Oh, you can't hear nothing now?
I can hear you.
All right, we'll let him get straight and we'll come back. So Jay, that was 2019. Now you're so basically God answered the question whether it was real or not. He said, look, watch this, bam, look, global pandemic, you can't go nowhere. And you got stuck here. Right?
So it had to be something.
So you in that time, what made you because most people say, okay, I'm stuck. As soon as they open back up, I'm going to head back home, finish my life, but apparently in that time you said, no, I'm just gonna have to rock it out here. So what was it?
You know, during that time, I was just like, you know, when you put things in motion and you think things are always supposed to go to plan how you set it out. And it's like, no, it went into plan how God wanted it to be. Because I set in motion, this is what I'm gonna do, and I thought I'm gonna do that at the end of the year, but it happened a lot sooner. And it said, okay, well, I said to myself, like, Jay, this is what you wanted to do, it just happened in a different way. So why not now take this time to now figure out your process or how to move forward. So once we did start to, I would say, go outside, now we outside. That December, they put us back on lockdown, I think in January, February. So then March, I went home for a few weeks to, work on that whole visa stuff and all of that. I had got a lawyer this side and so, and then I came right back. And then that's when I started to, like officially, apartments, all of that. Because during the pandemic, I was lucky enough to stay with a friend. So I didn't have to be alone. So that was a blessing within itself.
Mm, indeed, indeed. Khalees, look like you back, brother. Look like I can. You want to test and see?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I love that. You went, when did you first go? Was it 2020 or 2021?
Go where? Home?
To South Africa. You said you were there during the pandemic?
Yes. So 2020. So
Okay.
I landed in 2020.
Yeah, so I landed in December of 2020, my first time there, and it was locked down and all that, but they had kind of loosened up. I think they had a travel ban and then they lifted it, and I was just waiting for that, and then they lifted it. I got up out of here. Um,
And
and
then they
yeah,
locked it back down a little bit, right? Right after.
right,
I think they were trying to get that tourist money. They was like, look, come on in for Christmas.
right.
December.
Right. And it's funny because it didn't even feel like I was on lockdown, you know. Of course, things are a little more loose there. So even when stuff was closed, it was places you could go.
He's telling the secret on the live now. I know. I see it.
All that old snitching, man.
The feds might be watching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll say I enjoyed myself. And it was I didn't know what to expect, but I watched a couple YouTubers and saw their perspective, but it just hit me different once I got there. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was on vacation. I felt like I was home.
Mm.
It was just the weirdest thing. I done been to South America, Jamaica, other places where I saw people that, look similar to us, look like us, Black people from a different place, but South Africa felt like home. So I was like, I wasn't even homesick. I was like, yo, I could actually stay here. And what was supposed to be 1 month turned into 3 months. So I maxed out that 90-day visa, and it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful from everything to the people being welcoming, that whole myth of, we hate them or they hate us. No, it was automatic. Brother, where you from? They could tell from my accent. They like, oh, okay. Well, let me put you on where the spots to eat. Let me make sure you're safe. I felt the sense of community.
Yeah.
Which was a beautiful thing. And then, when my fiance came out a couple weeks later, so what to expect, but I watched a couple. Oh, I was like,
I got that right.
Sorry, I didn't want to break our laughing.
I was like, they tapping my phone now.
You know how the feds,
Right.
gotta refresh your cell, let the feds watch.
That's because you
Hey,
have a
Brian.
secret. They started.
Right, I'm gonna mute you right quick.
Lockdown.
Hey, Brian, I'm gonna mute you right quick so we don't have no feedback and stuff. But I want to say this. Let me ask y'all this though, because a brother's Tumello, it might be the same Dr. Tumello, says what I'm taking is that there is a lot of trauma African Americans go through in the US. You guys don't have to. right? So I'm gonna start this with Jay because this is something I want to, but then I want to hear the brothers, Khalees and Ronnie, because I do think um, that there's different types of traumas that black women experience versus the black men, right? And I'll just speak for black men right now and say that when you a big old black person or even a small black man, you are automatically deemed a threat. Period. So you walk around your whole life knowing that you are threatening, and you either do one or two things: you buy into that and you feed into that, or you try to become a less threatening black person. So you be jovial, you tell jokes, or you always smiling, especially if you're in that professional environment. Or you could just be real, you become real hardened, and you become so emotionless that you might even lose touch with reality, and then only in the sequestered moments with your wife or your significant other that you are actually able to let those guards and those walls down and become human again. So, but I want to hear from the sister Jay. The brother said there's a lot of trauma. Do you think African Americans are dealing with trauma? And part two of that question is this. You said it felt like home. Khalees said he felt like he could live there. I'm gonna speak for Ronnie because he moved here. He said it felt like home. Do you think there's something in our genetic memory, right? That when we touch at the African soil, that is not performative, that there's literally something that is awakened in our DNA that says you are back where you belong. That's just my question, Sister J. Boy, y'all like how I'm getting my Donna. Oh boy, boy, with the questions.
I'm like,
Go
all right,
ahead.
interviewer, hold on, let me take it back because this now becoming formal. Well, with that said, let me take a step back. And the reason I call my channel The Purposeful Journey is because I'm here on a different mission. My ancestors brought me back here. I know that many people who are tapped in spiritually here and at home has told me that. Especially because there's certain things that I'm like, all right, God, you brought me here. What am I supposed to do next? And so now I'm in that transition phase and in that spiritual phase that I am the person to break that cycle within my family and to tap back into our roots. Who knew that birthing me was going to do that? But if I didn't follow the calling or say the fast that I had, and it seems crazy until things start to align. You don't know it, but if you don't follow it, then you'll never know. And what's the most that I can lose? I will always think and wonder what would have been, and we talked about this, and to agree, disagree, people say things happen for a reason. But what if I stayed home? What would have been that reason? I think that it would have been a different journey for me. And because God has grace, doesn't mean that my life would have been any different, right? But I would have delayed a certain process that I probably needed, that I need to take me higher spiritually and the level that I need to connect in order to break that generational whatever that is within my family and myself and my DNA ties that is here for me. So within that journey, I am still on. I am learning, and now I'm starting to see some of the things that I needed to see. I'm not fully there yet, and I say this because it's not easy. People think, "Oh, I see you thrive, and I see you move to the continent to do this." Do you know the life that I had that I left? Like it's not easy when you not disassociate, but you let some of those things go to make the inner you happy. You feel
Yeah,
like it's more than the physical thing. My soul needs to feel joy. And if this brings me joy every time I touch it, why should I not go seek more of it?
right.
And so that's where I'm at now. In regard to you saying, I think someone said something about trauma. Come on now, everybody on this call know it's a different us at home and it's a different us at work. We code switch once we get to work because we know we come a certain way that I don't want to be the angry black woman. I don't want to be, coming off aggressive. So now I just like, I have to change my demeanor a little bit because I'm here to showcase my skills, but also I want to keep my job and I don't want nobody to have me in a certain space because now you feel offended, you know, and then even especially when the emails, you're like, all right, now I'm gonna respond to this because
Facts.
it's a certain language that you have to maintain. Now it's different. I hear that here they do have some of that as well, based on I guess the different different races. But you have to tread lightly, and you do have to be careful because the minute you flip off, you have to make up in your mind, or you already made up in your mind, yeah, I'm gonna let this job go. She can go tell whoever she wants because you by that time you didn't had enough. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, or most of the time, you have literally stuck it in your heart, went to tell the other coworker that you know that you get along, like, yo, this is what happened. She literally hit a Becky on me. And I don't even know how to do certain things, but I think that's all of us. Whether we also in the workplace or even just in a different environment. When you go out to the club and stuff, and you can go out with a mixed crowd, you have to be more careful than the mixed crowd that you with, and all of you guys could be doing the same thing. You're
Yeah.
just having fun,
Right.
but you will be singled out of your white, Indian, Asian friends. You.
You got to be the one
Mhm.
because your black skin deems you guilty already, right? But you know what I want to say? I do appreciate, I hear a lot of spirituality in your talk. I hear a lot of God in your talk. And too often, like with I guess, I don't know how old you are either. How old are you? Just give me an age range.
I'm in my 30s. I was going to actually tell you your age, but I'm in
Yeah,
my 30s. I mean, I'm
yeah,
not
okay,
I'm not
okay.
old.
All right. So, but I hear, and a lot of people, a lot of younger people, we don't hear that talk, that spiritual grounding anymore, and that's important. So it's good to hear that. But to your point about, listen, I think, and I want Brother Ronnie to chime in on this as well as Brother Khalees. But in particular, well, Brother Khalees is from Baltimore. Ronnie is from East St. Louis, like two of the worst places on earth, right? I'm from New Orleans, like the third worst place on earth when it comes to just violent crime and how you have to live. So you mentioned like when you get ready to, if you get ready to leash on somebody, I just gotta quit. I'm already gonna lose this job, but it gets to that point. I think these brothers can attest that most of us black men walk around on that point already, right? So I know for myself, I walk around. That is my mo. What's the word? That is my natural operating system. I'm there. So I'm trying to be respectful to everybody. I'm always trying to be nice and laughing and joking and cool because the moment you disrespect me, I'm already off. I know because that's how I'm living already. That's how I'm feeling like I'm being nice because I don't want to go off on you. But the moment you disrespect, and so I think that's just part of the society we live in where you have to be on guard not only from white folk, but then you got to live in a community where you can just catch a stray, or you can tell a brother something halfway that he just deemed disrespectful, and now you shout out. So I want to hear Ronnie. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Uh-oh. Let me ask you to unmute.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, you're unmuted, big brother.
All right,
The
all right.
velvet teddy bear.
This dude. What up, Khalees? What's up, Jay?
Hey, how are you?
Man, chilling, chilling, chilling. No, but where should I start? The bravado that black men got to carry, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Dr. Asad, being from East St. Louis, You always got to be on your P's and Q's, man. And we was talking about this. Tracy Williams, he left today from South Africa. We was talking about this today. If you look at somebody too long, you know what I'm saying, it's liable to go up.
Yeah.
You step on somebody's shoes, it's liable to go up. And like Jay said, black man always got to face something. He got to face, you know what I'm saying, women, black women. I don't want to leave that out. Black women, you got to face the white man, and you got to face your own people. We always going up against
I met
something.
you on that black woman.
Hey, it's I'm just being realistic, man. We could go like well, society that made the black women turn against the black man, and vice versa. It's just a wedge between black men and black women right now. Yes, it is.
You think
Yes.
society has made okay? I don't think so. I think that black men have done it to themselves. And the reason why I say that, and it's not all black men, yes, it's
Jay,
not
come on.
all black men. It's not all black men, but you got to think about, especially, okay, within my generation, we have seen what our mothers and our grandmothers have been through. And we've seen women being mothers and fathers to their children, being left left at home alone, men going out doing all these things. And then you gotta remember that society did play a role in that, in both aspects, because then we had the crack epidemic. We had all these things that played a role. And then you gotta think about how back in those days, women that, in order to get help from the system, they were you had to be alone. There's no man that should have been in your house. And then that also separates the black family. So now this man is like now creating families everywhere else. So it's a whole system. But then when he comes back home and he wants to get that respect from this woman, where you out here playing the field and doing all this, and she's been there taking care of the kids, and you're not doing this and that. It's so many different things. So then we come up. I don't want to be like what I saw my mama go through or my grandmama go through. So yes, I'm gonna be that strong black independent women, which now is a trauma and an identity that we have to take on that we really don't want. You don't think that we want to be soft? We do. We want you to take the lead. But then some people out here being trifling and just want to have baby mama here, baby mama there. Oh, well, my dad did. No. So I think it's twofold. Don't just put it on us.
I see you ain't even. I said it's both ways. I said both ways, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that you know what I'm saying. The woman is like that right now, and men have to make up these things about what is it when they go overseas and they getting women. You know what I'm saying? What is it
Passport
called?
bros. Passport bros.
Passport bros. When I heard about that, I didn't like it. I didn't understand it at first. But when I thought about it, like the independence that you're talking about with the woman is so strong. It's so strong that they feel like they don't need a man. And the man, like you said at first, we gotta go against so much. And society done erased us like out of the household. So we just doing what men do and adapt. We just trying to adapt to the environment that we put into the situation that we got in. You know what I'm saying? Drugs was put in our environment. So we learned to hustle and make away with that. You know what I'm saying? The government with the housing and stuff like that, where the man couldn't even be in the house. So we had to go. You know what I'm saying? Like we just adjusting to what we was giving. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it was a twofold. But back to the real topic. I didn't want to
All
go
right, my
all.
bad.
You
Let
know what
me
I'm
get
saying?
myself.
No, that's
No,
good
no,
because
no,
I'm
no,
gonna jump in
no,
after that.
no.
Go ahead. I'm gonna jump in. Go ahead.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. We got to have more conversations like this. You know what I'm saying? Especially with other South Africans, Africans. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know the stuff that we go through. They only go by what they see on TV. You know what I'm saying? That's not reality. We all know that ain't reality. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't forgot what the whole question was. Go ahead,
So
Doctor.
I want to say this here though. So Um, I see both of y'all because I think somebody said it here. You know, it's like black women are not the enemy, black men are not the enemy. No matter what narratives keep being spun within our community. With that being said, I love music. I know I always talk about how bad rap is and this, that, and the third. If we go back and listen to the music that our fathers were listening to, like the OJs and all that old 70s, Al Green, they were singing about love, and there was a certain admiration for the woman, right? Um, Even if they were singing about, breaking up, Al Green told a woman, let's just make love one more time for the good time. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't, you will be and blah, 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 blah. Now, growing up on hip hop music, we begin to tell women exactly what we wanted from them, and now we're surprised by what we got. Mm-hmm. I'm from New Orleans where they had a song called A Hot Girl. Niggas say, I like them hot, the ones that don't tell me to stop, eat them, swallow them, and they know how to pop. I like a gangster, a
That used to be
project.
my song.
Huh? Wait, he said he
Yeah.
want
No,
a
I
gangster
understand that,
chick.
but it's a part of the culture.
Right, he said he wanted a gangster chick, a project chick. So a woman listening to that, a young girl, she said, oh, that's what they want. Right? That's the kind of woman I need to go up to be if I want to get a man. What if Ja Rule? I want a ride or die chick, right? She gonna hold the dope for me. And what's the last little song about the she was what the song is? Bad and Bougie. She cooking up dope with the Uzi. Huh?
Mm.
We done told women for the last 30 years, this is the kind of woman I want. So now 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds, this is the kind of woman they got to deal with. My woman 40 something. So we ain't grow up. That wasn't ingrained in us. We heard it, but we had mamas and daddies at home who was listening to Al Green and all of that type of stuff, who had a different relationship. So we saw something different. Somebody who grew up listening to that foolishness for years. And then on the woman's side, they've been listening to Lil Kim, and they keep replacing Lil Kim with a different version of her every year. They go from Lil Kim to Nicki Minaj, and from a Nicki Minaj to a Lotto to whomever. It's just a different version of the same thing each year, right? Every so often they say, okay, this one played out. Let's give him this, right? When the last time y'all
Yeah.
heard a song about a man? The reason why art and music is so important. When the last time you heard a song about a man like literally being vulnerable with a woman? We laugh at Drake. We say he's soft for making girl songs, making songs about a girl. You know what I'm saying? But like, everybody gotta be a gangster. Everybody gotta be thugging. And even around your woman, you gotta be hard, man. If I gotta come home and be hard around my wife, god damn, when do I get to relax? When do I get to just be like, can I exhale? I'm tired of waiting to exhale. Can I exhale? Can I exhale? Oh, y'all, we got buku comments. Let's jump into the comments. Brother
Yeah, I was
Kalishi.
just reading some of those. No, but on that aspect, I see where you're coming from. But like when as a child, all those songs, like I'm used to listening to the oldie but goodies in the car because my grandmother raised me. So it's just like I love the big, like I have an array of music that I listen to. But then also just me, I feel like my era, even during that time, and I know you say within the 30s, but that's when the boy groups and the girl groups were out, and they weren't doing that drastic change of songs like you were saying too. And they still was talking about love and all of that. And you got to think about, I'm a 90s baby. A lot of people like the 90s, music era. You can go to a brunch and if that's all they play, the brunch is lit from 2 p.m. Next thing you know, it's 9 p.m. and you just now leaving. So
Yeah,
like you just gotta look at what you take in personally. Now and then you go into like when you were just singing some of like I guess you call like the ratchet song. Remember, we code switch. So I know like sometimes it's just feeling like the music from my people. It has a good hook. And I might not know all the lyrics, but the hook got me and the beat, and we having a good time. But that ride or die part, that for me is what really hit I would say my generation. But then I think we realized like, nah, that's played out because I seen that and I seen what it done to some people. I'm not going to jail for nobody. I'm not dying for nobody unless it's I mean, I don't have no children unless it's my kids or my family. That's the ride or die that, you just got it. And it's also different environments that you grew up in. And then what you also exposed to. I knew that I didn't want to be a product of my environment. Some people, it may bring them into it, but for me, it was what I did not want to be. So it is,
That's what's up.
I don't want to say it's a choice because some people don't have a choice, but I think that if you take the time, we live in a era of social media. So there is a lot of things that you can tap into to help change the direction of your mind. Once you do that, you everything else will flow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brother Khalees.
Yeah, yeah, it's a cultural thing too, because I think we were talking about this on our last live that like you listen to I'm a Piano and they not talking about drugs or hurting each other, you know what I mean? And even with the rappers that side, like even when they beef, it's not like going to spill out past that. It's on wax, you know? So I think it is a cultural thing here in the States where we do glorify drug dealing and violence and things that we see on TV, but it's also art imitating life. We do see these in our communities. Growing up in Baltimore, it's crazy. It was crazy. The Wire was shot in my neighborhood, and I got to be an extra on the show because I just went to the director. I'm like, yo, this is my real life. Like, yo, I see this every day. This is, and even within that, luckily, I didn't allow it to influence me to the point where I emulated that. But that's hard to do. It's a urge that you have to fight and you have to make a conscious decision.
Right.
But yeah, y'all had said something early on, and then we got down this road.
Sidetrack. Let me jump into these comments then. So Sister Brandy said, to some degree, women want and need a man. However, she will only commit and be passive to a man that is a man.
Amen.
All right. So chilling with the Charles, another brother who will be moving to South Africa soon. He's going to jump on. He said, I thought Nixon gave Black women power of the household by putting the apartment in their name and the welfare while putting restrictions on a man from being in the same household. Women choose. Somebody said, yeah, Wise Zoe said, yes, the OJs, big old facts. The OJs, if you want to study a spectrum of masculinity, you need to study OJ music, right? The OJs have a song, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. He at home with his woman talking about,
what up?
What's up, brother Charles? Thomas, hold on one second, brother.
All right.
Boy, you look like you got a lot of money, brother Tom. Where you at, man? You in Puerto Rico?
Man.
Where you at?
I'm at home. No, I'm at home. I had to come outside, man. My wife in the crib working. I was like, oh no, this is exactly what I've been preaching about lately. I got to get on this.
Well, congratulations on the baby on the way, my brother.
I appreciate it, y'all. I appreciate it.
But
man.
But
go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted, please.
I'm sorry, but so the OJs had that. Then they had, last night, me and my woman, we cried together, talking about vulnerability. Then they talked about the stairway to heaven. Like it is the entire spectrum of what Black masculinity could be and should be. Back to these questions. Back to these comments.
Well, that one comment you just read before you moved on,
Go
when
ahead.
he said, women, basically women choose, I thought Nixon gave something that is presented to help us black people or black women. You got to look at it twofold, because you think it's a green a green light to go ahead, and you're not looking at the yellow and red undercurrent that's under it. That literally what that was split up the family. So some things that look like, that glitter ain't gold. And so that has been done to us a lot over the years. And it's like, when are we going to see it? So yes, whoever said this comment, King Naldo, it may look like that. And you saying, well, basically, what do we want? We need to choose. He gave us freedom. Freedom what? Freedom to split up homes and to now have my children in a broken home? Come on.
All right, I'm gonna finish these comments, and then Brother Thomas said he got something he want to say about it. So, Sister Deborah said exactly, and why Zoe said Drake can be a little toxic too, though. I mean, yeah, I mean he's a rapper, and rap is a toxic form of expression. I need to go to church maybe, and I'll find me a great partner at this point. That's where your big mama used to tell you to go. You want a good woman, a good man, you go to church. You know, that's you know.
I'm like, devils go to church too.
Amen.
Look, everybody, I told y'all before, an old prostitute told me, and this is it's funny, but it's the truth. An old prostitute told me, she said, King, because that's my name. She said, King, everybody on their knees ain't praying.
That's right. They
know that's right. That's not funny.
But it's the God honest truth. Everybody on their knees ain't praying. Brother Thomas, go ahead. We'll get back to the comments later. Brother Thomas, you said you want to jump in.
I did, man. Y'all, I've been talking about this so much lately, and I love what everybody has said is spot on. I agree with everybody. I think me and Khalees talked about this, what was it, about 2-3 weeks ago? Me and Khalees be chopping it up. We be on the phone about 2-3 hours sometimes, just chopping it up. But, man, okay. So me personally, this is just my opinion. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. That's my background. BMF is the baby BMF to the real BMF, the real Meech that I knew. So I'm raised around that type of environment too. And, growing up in Detroit, you hear Motown. My dad actually would be 65 years old if he wasn't killed due to gun violence right now. So, my dad older, you know what I mean? So you know what I listened to growing up. Rick James was probably the nastiest, the grimiest stuff that I used to hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now this hip hop I feel like it is taking a completely different direction than it was intended to. I feel like its purpose was supposed to be poetic in a way of truth, you know what I mean, from experiences, but it turned into a culture for us. And I mean, what easier way to do is music speaks to the soul, right? Especially when people can relate to some of it, or their cousins can relate, or they hear stories. Some people just try to watch it through like it's a TV thing, you know? But for us, like a lot of us lived in, were around it, or were hurt or damaged by it. But once again, it was supposed to be a way of expression, like music. But since we don't, and this is my opinion, we don't have a core culture of values of people that we that we share. Like we can say when we go to South Africa, they have the spirit of Ubuntu. What we got? We got hip hop culture. You see what I'm saying? We don't have a core, because culture, I feel like personally is supposed to be based on morals, values, beliefs, love, community. Hip hop is the exact opposite of that. We hate each other. We kill each other. I wish it, and I wish it would. I'll take your wife. I'll take your man. I'll rob you. My chain bigger than yours. My house bigger than yours. My car doper than yours. How is that culture? How is that culture? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the opposite. That's why we tear each other down so much, in my opinion. Because we don't have a true culture, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. We have united in the past because we had an objective, and it created a culture to overcome that. You know what I mean? Jim Crow, slavery, things like that. But now we just out here living. we don't have anything to go back home to and say that we all follow and believe, or the majority follow and believe, because something as simple as that same music is what separates.
Yeah.
Because we like, okay, I don't like hip hop. You ain't even black then. What? What? Look what hip hop is doing to SA. They kill their artists just like we do, because it's hip hop. They talking about the same nonsense. Like Khalif said, they don't talk about that in I'm a Piano. I'm a piano artist out here in Miami right now, showing each other love, happy to see each other, around each other. Ain't no beef, ain't nothing like that. It's because it's based around love still. It still has an R&B, a soul. It has all of that. So I feel like that's why I don't listen to hip hop anymore as much as I do. And to Dr. Asad's point, and someone else said, Drake used to make music that was about love, compassion, and want to be with somebody, until we told him that ain't hip hop. You sound weak.
Yeah.
Now what does he make? He said the same stuff that we've been saying in hip hop and in rap music. So that's where I'll come from.
Man, where the ladies at? We got Jay on here by herself. So some sister need to jump on here, and because get some sisters on here. Too much testosterone. Thomas out here with a white beater on.
Hey, it's hot.
Ronnie probably got a woman somewhere in the house cooking the eggs or something. So
it's hot out here, dog.
Wow.
She over there. That's why he said that. She over there.
I'm alone.
I don't know. I mean, what y'all think? Y'all think I'm going it's a little too far?
No, brother Thomas, I think you're spot on. So I think that I made this argument a while back about hip hop and people. Let me be clear about rap music, I said it's an axiological war on our culture. Axiology is the branch of philosophy dealing with aesthetics and ethics. We now get our ideas about ethics from rap music. So it is ethical, it is acceptable for you to step on my shoe and for me to kill you. That is what rap music has taught us, right? The aesthetic side of it, not necessarily when we're talking about beauty, we're talking about harmony, right?
Yeah.
Harmony, the harmony of getting along, the harmony of nature, right? So we learn about our aesthetics, harmony from rap music, and it is about not having any harmony. You don't walk into a Black community and feel harmonious. You don't feel peace. Everybody knows that when you go to a new city, when you bump into the hood, everything changes. You have a heightened sense of awareness. You don't feel like, oh, I'm around a bunch of Black people, I should feel good. When you go to that new hood, you be like, I know I need to be on guard. I need to be on point. You know how to handle yourself. No matter what, if I leave and go back to the States and I meet Ronnie in the US and go to East St. Louis, I know the same rules apply in uptown New Orleans that apply in East St. Louis, that apply in Detroit, that apply in Baltimore, that apply in DC. I know when I'm in that environment. So hip hop music has totally restructured our ethics and our aesthetics, right? And some will argue that it's only some of the rap, or they'll argue that there's some good rap out there. And I don't disagree that there are some positive rappers. My thing is that we're talking about, what does the majority sound like? What when you turn on the radio, what are you hearing? What are our daughters hearing as it relates to female rappers? What are our children listening to? The hottest rapper right now that is moving more units than anybody is NBA Youngboy from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He is a lunatic. This person is easily diagnosable as having antisocial personality disorder with violent tendencies, right? But this is whom we choose to listen to. This is who our babies are listening to. But if you go back and listen to the stuff that we were listening to when we claimed hip hop was cool, I was listening to UGK, Pimp C, the Negro named Pimp C, right? And Bun B. They had a song, this is how old it is. They had a song that said, Pregnant P. UWY, right? Is the best you can get. Effing a chick while her baby SUCK. That's what I'm saying. Them people ain't no good. That ain't no stuff that you said. What made you put that on rap? What made you, okay, cool. It's a thought that came to your brain. What made you write it down and say I'm gonna record that? That's
And
the
they got
that's
approved.
and Jay, let me ask you this. I want to ask the sister this about how she feel about how rap music deals with Black women. We totally on. Everybody know when you watch this channel, we don't never stick to no topic. So, how does rap music? How do you feel about rap music and Black women?
It depicts us in a bad light. We know that. But Thomas talked a lot about the hip hop culture. It did start off beautiful. It was supposed to be a culture because that's how we connected and came together from different parts of the U.S. Like if you was in this hood, you knew that like the same people. I may be in Louisiana, or I may be in D.C., but dudes and women in New York is facing the same thing. It was a way for us outlet. And that goes back into us being an oral people. We translate our history orally. That has been going on for centuries. And the background of hip hop culture, which I said this in a group of us, is that it derives from the Zulu culture. So it is supposed to have love and stuff within it. Now, how did it change? Who did we allow to tap into that when they realized that now we are a market? So now they tell us what to say, how we can say it. Now tell people die for a street name that you don't even know who is named after. But that's
Right.
your clique, that's your hood. This is all a money mechanism. They have sat in boardrooms and created this whole strategy and marketing plan behind it. You have OG rappers and people talking about this now. I think I seen a clip on Instagram. I'm gonna find it when this guy said he sat in a room with old white people, Jewish people, telling Black artists and creating a strategy how to sell their music, and this is how they're gonna make money. They already knew what that was, and then put some of that money into some of building the penitentiary systems because they knew what was coming. It is not just the music. It is so now that we can build more prisons. We know who's going in them. It's all systematic and strategic. So it is us selling our soul for money to now put this narrative and this negativity out to our people. So I would say that it to, to degrade Black women is degrading your mother. It's degrading your grandmother. They don't look at that. They look at, no, I'm great. I'm degrading the next chick, or I'm doing this, for money, not knowing you are tearing down a whole culture. And then now we at this stage where people want to follow that, and now we're saying R&B and soul is a dying breed. When that's where the love is, what's wrong with R&B? Do you hear that much of it anymore?
Amen. I'm gonna bring it back.
Go on, give us a little ball too, Ronnie. Give us
bring it back.
give us a little Gerald Levert. But I think we have a lot of comments, and let's and I want to get some of your reactions to these comments that we have. So somebody says, "Oh man, we missed so many of these comments." Somebody said Asad still need to dignify himself. They said we are connected to a culture to survive in wall-to-wall white supremacy, slavery, and segregation. But this culture is fake. It's like a prisoner who develops a culture to survive. Our real culture is African. And I think that brings us full circle back to what we feel when we get to the continent, when we see our brothers and sisters. and the way they interact with each other and the way they interact with us, right? When we come here and we get that warm welcome, or I told this story, this brother, my wife and I, he took us out to eat, or we met us to go eat, or whatever have you. He lived in Pretoria, and we were living in Four Ways at the time. And when we got home, maybe about 30 minutes later, he sent me a text, hey, bro, just checking to make sure you made it home safe, right? Now, you know, from my hyper masculinity, toxic masculinity mind frame, the first thing I looked at the phone, I was like, man, why this dude saying if I made it home safe? That's not the way we talk to each other, you know, as Black American men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell a story very similar. Back when I was really in good shape, we was doing this thing called Bone Frog. I don't know, Bone Frog is like a military challenge where you go out and you're climbing over walls and you're climbing up ropes. You're doing all of these obstacle courses or whatever have you. So me and my partner, we were going to go do it. I tried to get my other partner to come. He said, nah, man, y'all let me know if y'all die. You know what I'm saying? That was his response, man. I'm not going to do that. Let me know if y'all die. So with that being said, we notice that when we're here, we actually see in many ways, like what we are supposed to be, right? Like if we had not really experienced all of which we have experienced. And I don't want to glorify and say like, oh, they are perfect. We just see that they are absent of a lot of the trauma that has informed our culture and informed who we have become and our worldview, right? So
I agree with that. I don't know if Khalees, he stepped out for a second. I was gonna ask you, mind if I share something?
No, go on, brother.
Okay. So for example, and I completely agree with what you said, Dr. Asad. Like we have this thing where we're not supposed to show each other love as Black men. And I completely disagree with that. Like we're supposed to be the center of the home. So how can our family know love if we don't know it? You know? So that's something like you could, you know, people trying to tell us, oh, you stop hugging on your son at a certain age. Like, what? You see what I'm saying? Don't show your love, your kids love, your son love, blah, blah, blah. That's a sign of weakness and all this other stuff. But I'm trying to intentionally stop doing that. I tell my boys I love them now. Every time I get off the phone, and Khalees, on Mother's Day, I made sure I reached out to him and told him how much I see him and I know what he may be dealing with on this day. And for that, brother, I love you and I don't want you to ever think anything else. Anyone doesn't see what you may be dealing with, because as your brother, even though I've never met you in person, I know what you may, I can imagine what you may be dealing with on this day. Your mother is proud of you and I love you. Because we have to be intentional about that. We can't just passively do it. It's not it's not what we were taught.
That is absolutely beautiful. And that is like the definition of manhood. A lot of times we don't tell our brothers we love them or we appreciate them or ask about caring, show them that we care about them because number one, we are afraid to be vulnerable. And number two, we allow homophobia. Right, so that's that fear of being like, oh, somebody will think I'm gay if I tell this brother I love him or that I care about him or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? So now that fear has totally eliminated any ability to show any compassion, right, for the next person. And that's a strange way to exist as men and as women, as a group of people. That's just very strange.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you know, the important thing with that too is that, you know, family that didn't even reach out like Thomas did and say that to me. So some of us can have blood brothers or whatever, and they don't even give you that, you know, and you have somebody that may come from a different bloodline than you. God has brought you together. That's your brother. Like that's when we say our brothers, our sisters back home in the continent, even here within the United States, You know, you don't have to be blood related. It's people that come into your life that are going to help you that are quote unquote strangers, more so than the people you grew up with or supposed to love you or say it. But if it doesn't follow up with action, what is it? And you know, that's something that Dr. Asada touched on too, with like the toxic masculinity. You know, we have this falsehood that we can't show each other love because it'll be perceived as gay or whatever you want to call. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's something that it's something that a narrative that's put out there to deter you. You know, they instill fear in people to get you from what's right and will actually help you. So, you know, if they put out these narratives, brothers are scared to show each other love. Something I noticed, even coming from Baltimore, you know, the staring thing y'all were talking about. Like, if you look at somebody too long and, you know, it's going to be something. And I remember a brother was staring at me in Joburg. I was in Mamba Name, and I was ready. I had something on me to protect myself. And I was grabbing on it. And then he walked up to me. He was like, brother, I look at your YouTube, man. I love your stuff. He said, I love your work, man. I love you, man. Like I'm like, what? Right? So that was a
throw down.
Right. But that's how poison we are, you know, or so it's like, wow, to see that. And a brother, he felt no way from letting me know that whatever he saw in my work inspired him, you know, that's the direction we should be going to.
Yes, bro. Tank
Interesting.
said something crazy. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Tank said something very short and sweet that I thought was dope. He said they not afraid of our hate; they're afraid of our love.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, he ain't lying. Yeah. We gonna come together with our love, but we stay away from each other with hate.
So Sister J, you watching the comments?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one, but go ahead.
No, go. I'm gonna give you a chance to respond to that comment, and then I want to ask you. Khalid talked about the love he received. You know, a brother walked up to him, told him, have you experienced anything like that with the sisters here? Not just that they notice you from social media, but is there a less guarded type of relationship?
So I'm like an introvert extrovert guy. So like I make sure that I am in certain areas. Just like if we do an expat group thing, or maybe I go hiking, that's where you see me, where I won't be around so many different people. Um, so I'm mostly in the house, so I haven't really gotten that like that. But literally a few days ago, I was on a Zoom call doing it's a big real estate and construction expo, the Big Five expo that's coming up, and I'm consulting with them. And when I got off the phone, because we have a WhatsApp group, and the young lady said to me, I, I kept saying your name, and I'm like, no, it must be a different J, because I don't tell many people what I do. And she said, no, this has to be a different J. It's a different profession, like this professional J. Then when you cut your camera on, I said, that's the J from YouTube. And so she literally sent me a message and was like, I thought you were, the J from YouTube, but I just started my channel. So I didn't think that many people would recognize who I am, or she would even know who I was. But this is in a professional setting. So literally, that's because I'm new to this platform. I'm pretty sure you guys have done this way longer than me. It's only been about 2 months. And I now am thinking, oh snap, I gotta be careful now what some of the things I may post or say, because it's now hitting the other arena that I don't like. Look, don't mess with my money. But but I still want to be authentic and organic of who I am and my experience. So that was something I actually been thinking about since yesterday. But my channel is growing fast, and I'm just wondering why. So now I'm already a YouTube partner within 2 months. And so I didn't expect that. I thought it was gonna like be slow. So I'm like, all right, it's something that um is drawn out or that people like. But my last video, like it's certain things that you say, and then now people are the comments of you gotta be careful, like using the word color. Now I was literally telling African Americans, do not be offended when someone is saying that to you because they're not trying to be racist. Remember, racist that's attached to racism for us. You know, there's the
Right.
color water fountain, there's the white water fountain. We know all of that. And so it's just me explaining that. But then you got people going in talking about the history and all that. I'm not tapping into that because that's not my culture. You know, but
Right.
for us, based on, especially all of us here that's on this chat, we actually, based on what you guys are saying what color is, we would be deemed as colors because as African Americans, we are mixed like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you gotta be careful of saying certain things because now people coming for you. We wouldn't consider you colored. It's not about race. But when you look at certain people that come from America, like some of our friends, like let's take Red, the female Red for example. You calling her colored, don't even know her culture, and you telling me because I said it's based on some skin color that I'm wrong when I experienced that firsthand in the flesh of you saying that.
Mm.
So it's a hit or miss.
Yeah. I
So
had
now,
a
what
high,
comment did you want? I'm sorry, brother Khalees. I wanted. She saw a comment that I saw. I saw all of the Washington D.C., New Orleans grandmama come out of her that were about to make her. Y'all know her people from New Orleans. That's why we got a special connection. And speaking of that, brother Mr. W, who's in the chats, he said from the Ninth Ward. I say wow. And holla at me. I left my email address in the thing, brother. He said he coming to. I gotta take care of my city people now. I don't play no game. But go ahead, Jay. What was that comment that really struck a nerve?
It was just a little different because it always goes to how how just because you mix with certain things, how black people are like, well, I'm not really black or I'm Native American. Just you trying to find something different about you. So this comment just struck me like that. So this person said it's antebellum black American. Says luckily all of the black Americans I hang out with are in the technology field. So we don't really talk about rap and hip hop culture. I think it's who you surround yourself with.
Mm.
You try to distinguish yourself in the like. I just was like, all right, bruh, you can log off. Sorry, but it's this your channel.
Well, let me say so. For me, that I'm comfortable in the streets and the suites. You understand? I'm comfortable in many environments. And it just so happens that I'm from a place where the majority of the people I had to deal with and live around were not into tech. They had techs. They had some techs and AKs and all kind of stuff, but they wasn't in the tech. You understand what I'm saying? I spent nearly a decade working in the prisons in Angola State Prison and in Orleans Justice Center, formerly the Orleans Parish Prison. I would spend 5 or 6 hours a day behind bars, right? So I need to be aware of all kind of stuff that's going on. And those people that I work with in that prison, they wasn't in the tech either. They were murderers, armed robbers, rapists, and class A felons. That's who I work with on a day-to-day basis, right? So maybe it isn't people I surrounded myself with, but I think I don't bring that same energy when I'm sitting meeting ambassadors or whatever have you. But I think we have to have the ability to as Jay mentioned, code switch and to be able to adapt to different environments. But yeah, that's that brother, or I don't know if it's a brother or sister or whomever, but
You sound like a
maybe
brother,
that's just
but
me.
I mean, if you say that, imagine when you're in college and you go to certain parties and all that, and the white people go harder to the rap music than you. I don't even know all of it. Like, so I I just didn't understand this. It's just like we do this whole separation thing. And I went to a white college, and it's just like when the oh man, where the black brothers be like, I don't date black girls because
Oh,
they do this and do that, and then you see them dating the white girls and all that. Okay, she can go to White Castle and get you 100 burgers. I'm not gonna do that, dumb. Like
yeah.
it's certain things. It's just like, no, we may be this and that, but it's just like you don't have to like make sure that you put us down so that you can lift yourself up or
Somebody else.
another so that now you can separate yourself. I just got that from that comment. And so I was just like, yeah, you on the
Yeah.
wrong channel. Dr. Starbucks just spit all black stuff.
So my sister Brandy said the red bands. Somebody looking at that don't have no idea what she's talking about. But when you would go to OPP, and I witnessed this as someone who worked in the prison as well as someone who was temporarily detained by the authorities once or twice, right? So there's
I like how you laid that.
Dr. Thug.
Thanks
But
for
it's so
realizing.
they had a band, so like they would give you an armband. If you had a red band, that meant that you was on a felony, like a murder charge or a rape charge or attempted murder charge. I forgot what the other ones like yellow and orange. I forgot what the other bands were, but that's how they knew. So they was if you saw somebody with that red band on, when you were behind the wall, you'd be like, oh, I know exactly what he's in here for, or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? So it was segregation there. So you in there with like any other color band and the red band, you in there, you saw. You could be in there on the lightweight drug charge. It might get a yellow band or something like that. That red band was some serious stuff. And then somebody said, it's crazy how they named the prison after an African country. Here's the story behind, and I've told this a million times on the channel. The name of the state penitentiary in Louisiana is called Angola State Penitentiary. Why is it called Angola? Because before it was a penitentiary, it was a plantation. And when you go there, you see it is still a plantation. People still work the fields in Angola. And the reason why they called it Angola is because the majority of the slaves who were on that plantation were from Angola. So that's how the name of the prison got its, that's how the prison got its name. But
That's how sick and twisted this country is. That's
yeah,
how
bro.
sick and that should tell y'all everything y'all need to know about this country. They don't like they have no respect for us whatsoever. So you're
Well,
gonna
they
say,
let you
okay,
know.
so we gonna make slavery illegal, but we're gonna create a penitentiary on that plantation and put y'all back to work the legal way that slavery is, the way slavery is still legal. That's some
So
sick.
when Kanye was talking about that 13th Amendment and people misunderstood him, but he was serious because that 13th Amendment says that slavery is illegal unless for the punishment of a crime, right? So when you go to Angola, you realize that slavery is not over. It is not, and it's not only that, it's parchment, I believe, in Mississippi. Like these are plantations. They were literally plantations before they were prisons. And I can show you pictures of how they had the man sitting on the horse with his officer uniform on and his gun in his hand. And the people, our brothers, this is not like, 100 years ago, like just like last year, and they walking on the line with the picks in their hands and stuff, getting ready to go and work
like
the
a
field.
like a
So like
overseas.
right,
Is he
Like
like a
life, but this is real life. It's not like 100 years ago. I'm talking about this is what they do in 2023.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that on the way
yeah.
going to Gina, Louisiana. Remember that time of that whole thing with the school? Just us
yeah.
driving down there. That was the first time I seen like literally prison workers wearing the same uniform that I would see like on life on the street cleaning. And I was just like, this is crazy. Or you see a Confederate flag that is literally is not like a sticker. It was actual like the baseball field flag with the name of the baseball field and everything. And I was just like, this is crazy. Because I used to go to Louisiana, New Orleans all the time. But just, I guess maybe I took that short left when we went to Gina, and I was like, oh, this is something new for me to see. So that shows you
Yeah.
that like racism still exists. It's just now that people are like, oh, I thought it died. No, you're seeing it more because people are recording more. People are showing the world more so that we think that it's going to get us justice, but we've seen that it doesn't. They really don't care. And that different sentences apply to different people based on the color of your skin. And so now we also know why, because now you're going to be put into that slavery system that they got that money into to now do. They need people to do that work. You know that's $1 billion industry, hey? And they
Yeah.
building more. They building more not just from crime and rap music. They building more just from the test scores of your child in elementary school. That's why
Third
the school
grade.
system is the way that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
And
They
and
predict.
slavery is. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I was just saying they predict where your child is going to end up.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
by your test scores of third grade. They start basing in Orleans Parish, they would the sheriff would base his yearly budget request on third grade reading scores. Listen to what I'm telling you. Them people playing a long game, man. Them people playing a game that y'all don't even begin to fathom. Minister Farrakhan said we could never fathom how deep the mind of Satan is, man. Come on, man. You wouldn't even think third grade. But that tells you if you can't read by third grade, you're on your way to jail.
Yeah. Just like that's how they used to
That's
do
it.
us in slavery, though, because we were products back then. It's no different now.
Right.
They just plan. They have to plan the expectation, just like a business. You plan your profitability a few years ahead of time and see what you need to do different to make sure you meet your quota. It's no different. They squeezing profit out of people by not paying them.
Come on, Malcolm Charles X.
That's why this country rich in the first place, though. It's because we built it for free. We built it for nothing. So how can slavery? If you look at it, I don't know the actual amount, but what's considered slavery or illegal slavery in this country, or illegal, whatever, however you want to look at it. The people in the penitentiary get paid a certain amount of money, but it's right at the legal or below the legal limit of what's considered slavery. Like it's not a livable wage. It's not anything you can do anything with. That's why they have consignment and consent. Right. So, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, I was going to say even the minimum wage to me is slavery. It's not even livable. If you stay in California, that minimum wage is not even livable, right? So yeah, you put
it's not livable over here either, bro. Your minimum wage is almost double ours, I believe, but that's still not livable. What's the minimum wage out there?
15?
$17. Maybe
17?
Maybe let me double check, but last time I thought either they were trying to raise it to 17 from 15, but it's between 15 and 17.
Last time I checked what it is in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, in the South, it's like $7.25.
$7.25.
A burger an hour. Not even a real burger, like a McDonald's burger. You go get a McDonald's burger, maybe a meal, maybe. I don't think you can get a meal with $7 no more. That's what you can get from working for an hour somewhere as minimum wage. You know what I mean?
And you know, I used to work at Burger King. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
$15.50.
Yeah, because I was about to say 17 is. I've never heard that, but yeah, between 9 and 15, still bad.
Yeah,
I was working at Burger King.
Is double.
When I was in high school, I think the minimum wage was maybe $3-4, something like that an hour. And what I learned then is that I could make, 50 Whoppers in an hour. And it was like Thomas was saying, they was giving me basically one Whopper for that hour that they made 50. And so I learned then minimum wage, minimum work. Dang, I'm not finna, y'all not finna work me to death.
Man, they want to break your back for that minimum wage too, though. They want to break your back for that money.
Yeah.
Man,
No, that minimum wage, minimum work. Jay must have had the
and
step most.
don't even think about the restaurant industry though.
Oh,
They get
boy.
paid $2 an hour in the South.
I thought you was
You
getting
only
your
working on
wine or
tips.
something, but you got you some water.
And they tax your tips. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
getting
they tax your tips.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man, they
man,
doing us
I've never
bad.
in my life. I worked, and I've never in my life seen somebody so quick to get you off the clock when you about to hit overtime. But it's overtime at $2 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like,
that was one of my
You
complaints.
like you being petty for no reason.
oh my bad, I'm gonna go up to $3 an hour. My bad. I need to hurry get off the clock.
Somebody says that red state. But that was so when I talked about Johannesburg shutting down so early, people brought to my attention that the labor laws here would require, like the labor laws are written where there are certain working hours, right? And then anything over that, I guess they have to pay time and overtime pay or whatever have you. So and I think those working hours are like maybe 8 to 4, then 9 to 5, and then maybe if there's a late shift or something like that. And one of our South Africans, they explained it to us. South African brothers and sisters explained it. So what that means is that you really won't get like 24-hour Walmart because of the way these set hours, these set shifts. There are no other shifts unless there's like extra pay coming with that. So
But we have the same thing. It's
huh?
no different. Yeah, I said we have the same thing. It's set hours that you can work and you can work, overwork certain hours, or you get paid time and a half, or
Yeah, but
So
I
why
think
not just
they
pay
have
the people?
actual no, they have actual hours. Like we know we can work 8 hours a day. That's full-time work, right? 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
5 days a week. But you can work those 8 hours from 3 to 11. You see what I'm saying? I think here they have like three main shifts and they all start in the morning time and they end relatively early in the afternoon. So I think it's the language is what I'm saying. It's like we in the US say is 8 hours a day, and then anything over that is overtime, but you can work within that 24 hours, whatever shift they put you on. If you work in those 8 hours, that's your full-time day. I think here they have only maybe a couple
I
of
get what
shifts
you're
that
saying.
qualify. I think I may be misunderstanding it, but that's the information that I was getting from people, and maybe somebody will explain it. But anyway, y'all want to go over some of these comments before because it's been about 2 hours, so we'll we'll go over one or two of these comments and then we'll get out of here. And in the meantime, Jay, won't you shout out your your YouTube page, and then everybody else shout out their YouTube and their social media stuff.
So I am Jae Scott Style, and that's JaeScott Style STYLE, and that's on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and here on YouTube. I don't do too much tweets, but yeah, all the rest of them I'm very active on.
Jay, I gotta introduce you to my sister. She say I love Jay. So Brandy and Jay, I'm gonna put y'all on the introduction. Y'all to get along well. B, if you still watching, her grandmama from the city, so she got it in her. Go ahead, Khalees.
What's up, everyone? I'm Khalees, and that is on social media. It should be KAHLIS8 on all Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So yeah, if you look up KAHLIS8, and that's the number, I should pop up.
Bam. Brother Thomas.
All right. My name is Thomas. My South African name is Tondo. And you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at chilling with the Charles. So I put it in the comments already. So it's chilling without the G with the Charles, which is my
All
last
right.
name.
Brother Ronnie.
What up? What up? I'm Ronnie, a Velvet Bear. Dr. Asad. Yeah, the Velvet Teddy Bear. Sibu Cecil is my African name. I only mess with my YouTube right now. It's Red's Grade 8, and it's with the what them joints is quotations in the letter 8 at the end. So Red's Grade 8. So you can catch me on there. But yeah, that's it. I don't do the social media that much. I don't keep up with it that much, so you might not reach me. My Facebook is full. Can't accept any more friends.
Oh, look at you popping on Facebook.
No, just accepting people I don't even know.
Somebody said the only thing I gotta say this because it said the only thing I enjoyed in NOLA is the food, but it's very heavy. Facts. That's why we all big people out that way. But she said the few times I went, it felt heavy and haunting. First of all, the spirits do be walking around in the city of New Orleans.
Yes.
They walk around there. And you can feel them, you can see them, and everything. Sometimes they just look like regular people, and sometimes you just know like it's a spirit there. And on top of that, we have above ground graveyards. We don't bury our dead, we keep them above ground. So yeah, because we below sea level, so we can't dig no 6 feet because you're gonna hit water. So all the graves are above. So we live in neighborhoods.
The first time you see it, you're like, what is that?
Yeah, but they do that in Miami too. I found out there's parts of Miami that's like that too. Like where there's above ground graves. But we live in neighborhoods where you got like a graveyard like right across the street. You know what I'm saying? And you run through the graveyard so you can make a shortcut. You know, when I was in college, my partners used to be smoking, blowing in the graveyard.
Oh my God.
We learned to live with the dead. You know what I'm saying? We learned to live with death and the dead.
That's why y'all so crazy.
We don't know what you're saying.
That's why y'all so
No,
crazy.
but my grandmother always said, she said, don't play with that because you know voodoo's real.
Voodoo is real in New
we in
Orleans,
Africa, but New Orleans has a lot of some of the culture that's like here.
In
Africa.
Africa.
Don't play with that voodoo's real. Mm-hmm.
Red.
Here they talking about sending somebody lightning.
No.
Go ahead. But in New Orleans, you can do that too.
See, Jay people from there, so she used to go there and visit, so she understands, so when people, so let me tell you, there's a poet, y'all should look him up, his name is Talam AC. He's from New York, but he used to be, in this pre-Katrina, he used to come to New Orleans like all the time. His first time visiting New Orleans, he said, man, the spirits are at work here, whether that's positive or negative. He just said they are at work here. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we are a spiritual people as an African people in general, in certain places, you'll find people that play with those spirits or interact with those spirits more. Haiti is another place, and a lot of New Orleanians have Haitian roots, right? Yep. You'll see it in Jamaica. You'll see it in the Geechee Gullah Islands off of South Carolina, Georgia, in that area. They have been so connected to the continent because they didn't lose much of their culture. So they play with the spirits differently. You know what I'm saying? So places where you highly industrialized and big major cities and stuff like that, I don't know what happens. They may be in little pockets, but across certain cities and across certain pockets of Black people in the diaspora, you'll feel them spirits, definitely. I know that for a fact. I felt their presence when I was there. Yeah, you might want to look, burn you some sage when you get home. When you visit, you burn your sage. Look, you sage up. All right, family. So it was good. Jay, you gonna stay on for a second so we could do what the other
Yeah,
thing we was
but
supposed to do?
that whole New Orleans thing is just, it's not even burning stage. Like, even to this day, this is why I say we're different, but we're also similar. Like, we as African Americans can see the similarities here with people on the continent. Like, talking about spirit, like voodoo is the same as some of the, things that they do here in South Africa. But like, till this day, I do, when I go get my hair done and everything. You know how they pick your hairs, go everywhere. I'm like, nope, give me my hair, because my grandma told me you don't leave your hair. Somebody gonna do something with your hair. You either burn it
Yeah,
or you
Burn it or
like,
you
yeah,
down the toilet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
yeah,
know,
don't leave
fellas, when
that.
you go to New Orleans, you better not eat nothing, no red gravy from the woman, or nothing like that, homie. I'm telling you, it's the truth. You're gonna be caught up, boy. You gonna be like, man, well, I can't leave this woman alone, man. She a
Don't even know who she
They
is.
he
mother,
on
My
the
come
mother
doorstep
on.
and my grandmother taught me
as
about that.
well.
They put that
I ain't no
juju.
wise tales, man, no wise tales.
Mm.
But somebody asked
Oh, you
about
know it's juju. Here they call it muti.
Boosie. Yeah,
So,
somebody just asked
so
about the Shangomas of America. We have, listen, my homegirl, look her up. Her name is Sonny Patterson. And Brandy's on here, my sister, I'll tell you. Sonny Patterson, she's a fire poet. She was on Def Poet. She fire. You look her up, you be like, damn, she got 200,000 views. She did songs with what's that, Zoe?
what
She did
up, Zoe?
songs with your boy, what's his name? 2 Chainz and all that. But she's a priestess, right? You go to her house, they got altars. My home girl, Sally, they got altars in their house. They priestess, my partner. I got, like, as a Muslim, we're supposed to have one sort of orientation and notice that, but you can't help who you grow up around, who you dealt with, and whatever faith practices they have. So seeing a priestess and knowing somebody that ain't nothing that's like we don't know. I've been to Buku people's house and they got all kind of altars set up with pennies and chicken feet and all kind of strange shit. And I'll just be like, man, well, that's what y'all into. I know I'm gonna be out of here before it's night. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna spend the night. Yeah, I'm going home. But yeah. So, but anyway, family, it's good. There's a graveyard across the street from her house. Who be talking about? That red, oh, Brandon said that red gravy something
That red
serious.
grape is something
Red
serious.
gravy alone. Don't let that girl put that red gravy on you, Bob. You be
What's
like,
spaghetti?
"Wow, spaghetti?
That's,
You gonna sit down and eat that spaghetti? It's over for you.
have you
Okay.
seen
The
a
re-
spirit?
Have I seen what?
A spirit before?
Not seen spirit possession before in public, man. What you talking about? I ain't talking about something that it'll seem straight, it'll seem normal to y'all, but when
Yeah.
you know what's going on, man, I was in a bar. So it used to be a TV commercial that said 1825 Tulane. That was a furniture store. Next door was like 1823 Tulane was a bar that my partner BB had set up. He had a bar. I'm in the bar one night and everybody was in there dancing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I watched a spirit take over the whole bar. I'm not a crazy person, y'all. I'm not no weirdo. So this is what I'm saying. I watched a spirit take over the whole bar. I'm talking about I'm sitting back and I saw the change in people's face and attitude. And one song came on and the whole bar was fighting. One song, they got a song on Juvenile's 400 Degrees album where he say, throw your sets up, nigga, throw your sets up, throw your side up, nigga, throw your side up. And people went from dancing and chilling with drinks in their hand, and then before you know it, they start throwing sets up, and the whole, I'm talking about some, looked like we was in a Western bar with people throwing chairs and all kind of stuff. The whole place got taken over by a spirit, man. That was a spirit. Whatever was in that song, the
Vibration in the
violent
music.
spirit, the vibration in that music played out in real time. I've seen people, I've seen at Mayafa ceremonies where they've been possessed, eyes and everything change, and the way I've seen all that. Yeah. Now, do I believe it can happen to me? I don't think I'm constituted that way. You know what I'm saying? Like my faith structure is different, and I think certain people are open to that. If that
Or they
makes
lost.
sense.
Vulnerable
Or they
to it,
lost.
especially if they have a spiritual connection. They're more vulnerable to
Right.
getting.
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
tourist attraction in New Orleans, though, to come see like the haunted spirits and stuff like that. They got houses, bars. They say, "Hey, y'all, go to this haunted bar with me. You gonna see crazy
Wow.
stuff?" Or they're charge.
Yeah, the black-eyed children.
I don't
The
know nothing
black.
about no. Somebody say the
Never
liquor
heard.
strong. Yeah, the
Black-eyed.
liquor was strong.
Oh, my
Somebody
bad.
say
There
the
you go.
song open portals. Somebody say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but yeah, yeah. So, and that's another thing. So I grew up, so not to say that, so I know that there's a light side and a dark side to that stuff, right? So when I talk about my sister Sarah, she is light. I don't see the darkness that we associate with like the scary part of Ifa or voodoo, right? She has a light, but there's a light side, there's a dark side to it. But I think with all that being said, I grew up in the church and I had praying grandmamas and praying daddies. My daddy a preacher, you know what I'm saying? So I think certain things will have you covered in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? If I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain because I don't want to sit up there and say, oh, that's evil. What I say is I ain't into it. I'm into this over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm into this Islam or whatever have you. And I can't say all of it's bad because I know too many people that's involved in it. I don't think they bad people. You know what I'm saying? I think they have found a faith practice that works for them. But what I can say is that being open to like evil spirit possession or whatever have you, I don't think I'm open to it. I think I've been covered in from grandparents praying for you and hoping that you're covered with whatever good spirit, the Holy Spirit, if that may be it or whatever have you. So yeah, I just I've been to church and I ain't never caught the Holy Ghost, so maybe I just can't catch nothing. You know what I'm saying? I I ain't y'all ever caught the Holy Ghost in church? I ain't never caught it.
Yeah.
And I done seen people dancing. But what is that if that's not spirit possession?
Right.
When you watch them people in church and they dancing and they start speaking in tongues. I done
Yeah.
seen all that in church. So if that's not
But
spirit possession, I don't know what it is.
But if you ever been at like a party or something and you get a bad feeling and then you leave and right after, a shooting or something goes down, I feel like that's how you know you're protected. Like you have a spirit that kind of is watching over or like giving you some type of guidance.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
happened to me. My friends thought I was crazy. The exact same thing. So
Really?
it was my freshman year in college. I know we're about to cut this off, Dr.
No,
Tyler.
go
Let
take
me
your
tell this really
time.
quick. It was my freshman year in college. And so I started college at 17. So I really wasn't supposed to go to some of these things because I wasn't 18 yet. So once I went to college in Kentucky, but we drove our way to go to another school Kappa thing. It's in a gym. So we go and we have a good time. And we're dancing. Like I'm like in the middle, but in the front. And so I'm in this part and something's just like I'm thirsty. And my friend was like, no, just wait till after this song. And something told me, no, go now. I said, no, like we should go now. So we walked over to like this vending machine area was in this corridor. As soon as I got in front of the vending machine, where we were just standing, a person was right there and started shooting at that same spot. And I kept saying, and to this day, I truly believe I'm like, yo,
Mm.
I seen the fire from the gun. I can see it. And my friend's like, you didn't see it. And I'm like, I did. I literally was just standing right there. And it's like I had a view where I was standing in this little, because where the vending machine was, it was just like a small slit, and people were like going in and out. And I'm just like, all right, then I'm just gonna get a soda or something. But that could have been me. And then as I'm walking out, so this guy was like, no, because there's a door right there. He was like, because we're all ducking, and somebody came to the door and was like, well, who's all in here? And I'm like, well, who you looking for? I'm the main one, like, who you? Because we, what you looking for ain't in here. So this guy was like, no, follow me. We'll all go out. And as I'm going out, I see everybody on the ground, and I glance and I see my other friends over there in the corner. And then as soon as I get outside, this guy walks out. I started to see police and everything, and this guy walks out with his sister in his hand and said, "They shot my sister. They shot my sister." And I see him carrying the girl. And as I'm walking, I'm like, I'm gonna walk towards the police. Well, the two people in front of me started saying, "Nah, that's that right there. I'm gonna get him." And he pulled out a thing. So then I run to hide behind the car. I'm like, yo, I'm in Kentucky. What, like, why is this even happening? And then they start fighting right then and there. But I felt like it was a spirit that told me, don't wait, go now.
Wow.
You can't deny
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
real. You can't deny that. Wow.
Man.
I'm glad
just-
you're all right.
Yeah, yeah.
What Kentucky? What part of Kentucky was this? Lexington or Louisville? What was this at?
No, so I left Louisville. We went to Bowling Green. So I think it was like K State and the Cavs had a party and da da da. And because it's a big it was like a big gym. So even just going in there, they pat you down, all that, just for regular precautions. It wasn't like, oh, it's a hood thing. It's a school function, it's a college function. But these guys must have had the security at the thing. Because if everybody getting pat down, you shouldn't be able to get in with nothing.
Right. Especially more than one person.
So yeah, that was interesting. But I had several experiences where I feel like I have been protected.
And that's
But that
and you
was
know
one of
what?
the main ones that with the gun. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I could tell y'all a funny story about my first time interacting with some witches. And oh man, so this when I'm young now, I'm probably 23. And me and my frat brother, my line brother, we got an apartment uptown. It's like right on the cusp. So New Orleans is like one street is like the hood, and then it could be like two streets over, and you like in a decent little neighborhood. So we in the middle, we right on the two streets, right? So if you go out one way, you headed towards St. Charles and all the nice housing. If you go out the other way, you're going towards Claiborne. This on Milan. Anybody from the city, this is on Milan, right? And you going towards Claiborne, going into the hood. So, but anyway, we out and we meet these three chicks, right? Then before I'm married, for anybody get into all of that, we meet these three chicks, right? Matter of fact, my line brother wasn't with me. I was with somebody else. My line brother was actually at home. So I'm talking to the chicks or whatever have you. And, one of them was from Ethiopia. And, I think one might have been, I don't know, she just looked different. I don't know where she was from, but she wasn't from the city. And all of a sudden they told me that they chief, right? They burn, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I said, oh yeah, y'all want to come back to the crib, burn something, right? So they following me. I'm on the phone with my line brother, like, say, bro, I got three of them coming. It's going down, whoop de whoop, blah, 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 blah. I like, so they like, make sure the dishes washed, man. Make sure they got tissue in the bathroom and stuff like that, what I'm saying, all that type of stuff. So we get to the house, right? And Paul, before that, I had a conversation with a little lady friend that I was dealing with, but we wasn't like together. But she was like, we were friends with benefits, say it like that there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I kind of had put her off because I got these three. So we would go to the house. We get to the house, right? They started like, can we play some music? I was like, yeah, thanks. I'm thinking they about to put on, I don't know, Maxwell or something. I don't know. They put on some music that I ain't never heard. It sounded like some old Indian music. I don't know what to call it. It had funny symbols and sounds in it. And they started moving my furniture. And so my line brother, he come downstairs. We trying to pass the little blunt around or whatever have you. And they had brought their own incense from out their car. They lit the incense. Yeah. And they was in that thing moving their body like a snake, like, like doing all this here. So I'm watching and I'm like, this not turning out the way I thought it was going to turn out. First of all, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling what's going on. Now, watch this. So my little friend who benefits, she hit me up. I said, well, come on through, right? So I'm like, because this is not going the way that I thought it was going. All of this is weird to me. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was gonna go one way, like they say in the YA, you want it one way, but it's the other way. It went the other way. So all right, cool. Now my little friend with benefits, she come over. As soon as she walks in the door, right? She looked around and she said something to one of the chicks in another language. Now, this chick she from the St. Bernard Project. She don't know no other languages that I know of, right? She ain't no linguist. She ain't even went to school. She dropped out of high school. So she ain't no, but she said something to them and they said something back. Man, them chicks started blowing out the candles, burning, putting up the incense, moved my furniture, and they was like, we out. I mean, within 5 minutes. So I sat down and I'm talking to my friend with benefits. And I said, man, when you came in here, you said something. I said, and I know I'm intoxicated. So am I tripping? Did you say something to them? She said, King, because that's my name. If y'all know my real name, and that's what everybody called me, they know me like King. They were some witches. They was doing a seance in here. I said, some witches? What are you talking about? I said, how you know they some witches? She said, because I'm a witch too. I said, what?
Wow.
This is something you're supposed to share with me early. You ain't supposed, we've been doing all kinds of stuff. You've been supposed to tell me this. You ain't supposed to tell me this now. But yeah.
Tell me you ain't eat no red gravy from her. Tell me.
No, man, but it was already, I've been knowing her like
No
at
spaghetti,
that
no
point for a
nothing. No
long
spaghetti,
time.
no nothing.
He was eating
I think maybe she was really just genuine with you, but when she saw what was going on, she must have said something like, "Get y'all out of here." And they like,
Yeah,
"Oh, we got to go," because she like, "Don't play with this one."
yes. I mean,
She
whatever it
be hard.
was, they skedaddled. They skedaddled. Like, and I was like, you a witch. And I was like, none of it made sense. But then once I got into knowledge of what was going on, like the whole highly Catholic thing, and because and there's a lot of syncretism in New Orleans so in order to mask the Ifa voodoo practices, they would mask it under Catholic saints and Saint Mary and Saint Joe and all this type of stuff, right? So they would look at the attributes of the saints and say, oh, those attributes are something like Obatala, or those attributes are something like Ogun or whomever, right? And so they would use the saints as like proxy for their offerings to whomever. So it all started to make sense later on. But at that time, I was like, man, what you mean you a witch? That's something that you're supposed to tell me like early on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We supposed to have a conversation about your sexual health as well as your spiritual health. Because I don't need no, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
What did she say they wanted to do? I'm just curious.
Say one more again.
What did she say they wanted to do or that they actually really was doing outside of the sound?
She just said it was a seance. I didn't look. I'm so green at this time. I don't look. I probably had to look the word seance up to really understand what that meant. You know what I'm saying? But I think since, first of all, I think there has to be a belief there anyway. You gotta, if you're a person who believes that those things have power, then you're probably more concerned about it. At the time, I really wasn't concerned.
No, you were intoxicated. So remember, you off balance. Your spirit is in like you're now in a different realm. So you were more susceptible to whatever they was gonna do.
I was just trying to do something myself. I was
I
on my
know.
run.
You had bad intentions, so everything where your mind is, all of that, that played into that. You from New Orleans, you better
Yeah, but hey, I'm like I said, I was maybe
that's
22,
to
23.
protect
I had no
yourself.
idea. We was just wilding
Yeah.
out and we had no understanding. But that was my first experience with it. My brother was so shook. Like I remember him the next day, because after my little friend told us about that, and she told us she was a witch and that she is descendant of Marie Laveau, who was like the big
Mm.
voodoo queen and all that type of stuff. And I'm just sitting there tripping. You know, my little Baptist mind was just tripped out. And my brother the next day, he went out, he bought all kind of books trying to read up on it to understand, like, I don't know. I just think he felt like knowledge is power. I need to know what was happening here, whatever have you. But yeah, that was my first encounter, like with like real live witches. And then from that encounter, going around different people in different circles, I'm a poet, right? I was a poet in the spoken word community. And once I had that encounter and got a little bit of knowledge, I realized that so many people around me were priestess or what do they call them? Priest or priestess. And they got another little name that they call them too. That was all around me, all practicing, all around me. I was like, wow, I've never even paid attention to this. And you'll just see it now. Same spirit we
Somebody in the
have today.
comments said you ate the spaghetti.
Somebody say, Dr. Side been through the fire with no smoke, no smell of smoke, huh? Somebody say he ate the spaghetti. Anyway, family. So this been a long time now. I'm starting to sweat. I need to
Yeah,
re up on my
I'm starting to
medicine.
get sleepy.
But y'all, man, it's
They
always a
still got you, do
pleasure.
they?
Jace, huh?
I said, they don't still have you, do they?
Nah, man. You know, I'm bouncing back from the flu or a little bit of
Okay.
he said, "Oh, still have me, Lord. I hope not, man."
No,
But you know what I'm saying? I hope not. I'm gonna tell you another look. The lady told me one time, she was a older priestess lady, and she looked at me. She said, "Yeah, oh goon." And I was like, "Oh goon." If y'all know who Ogun, go look up. And I was like, "No, I don't think so. I'm with Jesus." At the time, I was still going to church. I'm with Jesus. I'm rolling with Jesus. We just gonna keep it there. Is what I know. You know, my mama say Jesus. I'm gonna roll with Jesus. All right, family. James, I don't know. I think I can end the live stream without ending. Let me see something. Stop.